The next day Ramous received a letter that included a resume from a young woman by the name of Emily Clehan, from Ireland. 2 months earlier, Ramous put out feelers, advertisements, for a manager to run the bed and breakfast. The hotel was becoming too big for him, and he decided to reopen it. It was always full and brought in upwards of $75,000 a month. His mother and father were hotel managers for another family until that family sold their business and moved back to Europe. When they did, they offered a 6-acre plot of land on the beach, in Garibaldi, and another 2 acres in Manzanita, to his parents back in the 50s. That family, the Humboldts, sold it to them for 1/10 of what it was worth. Since then, his parents built a 16-room bed and breakfast, a 15-pad RV park, and 3 other residences on the property in Garibaldi, of which 2 are sitting empty. The property in Manzanito is currently a vacant lot. His parents planned to build a resort there before they died. Ramous decided he would move into one of the 3-bedroom homes on the resort's property and hire a manager to reopen the bed and breakfast. Stephen, the son of the caretakers who worked for Ramous' parents, lived in the other 3-bedroom house with his family on the property. He continued living there after his father died of a heart attack, and his mother moved into residential living in Tillamook. He maintained and watched over the property to cover his rent. Stephen owned a successful lawn care service, which kept him busy. Frequently, he said he would like to work for Ramous full-time as his parents did. The 6 acres took a lot of upkeep. One side of the property bordered a beach in which his parents built a stone wall the full length of the property. It had 3 locked gates that had to be monitored daily. Beachgoers were constantly breaking the locks and coming onto the property. Stephen was always complaining about not being there to stop them and was purchasing at least a dozen padlocks per month. The rest of the property was manicured beautifully with lawns, gardens, and sitting areas throughout. That was the reason most beachgoers trespassed onto the property. The locks weren't that expensive, and Ramous didn't worry too much about it. His parents had left him a sizable bank account to go with the property, but he never dipped into the money he inherited, except to buy locks and pay the $25,000 tax bill each year. He figured it was time to reopen the hotel, and the letter from the young Irish woman was encouraging. She was well qualified and managed a similar bed and breakfast on the Irish coast. Within 15 minutes, he called her and offered to pay her way to the US so they could meet. After the phone conversation, he made up his mind right then she was perfect for the position. Ramous took the rest of the day off. The letter and his thoughts of reopening the bed and breakfast were good distractions from his current depression. Just as his mind wandered off to moving into the 3-bedroom, he received a call from Claire. "Hi, Chief. How are you?" "Better. Did I tell you that I'm considering reopening the bed and breakfast?" "I think you mentioned it." "Well, I just received a letter and resume from a potential manager, and I intend to hire her to get it operating. What do you need?" "That's good news, Ram. Maybe I'll come stay for a couple days, leave the husband, kids, and grandkids at home. Speaking of, remember, Selena and Jake stayed there when they got married. That honeymoon suite is one of the best all along the coast. I miss your mom and dad. They were wonderful people." "Thanks, I miss them too. You called me for something?" "Yes. I called to tell you OHSU called. Mr. Daniels is awake and responding. Talking is what they said. He appears to be talking a lot, and they can't shut him up." Oh, that's not good. Give me the number, and I'll call them." "Claire, from now on, forward any calls regarding this investigation directly to my phone. Don't answer questions or take any more messages, please." "Yes, Chief. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. Here is the number." She hung up without saying goodbye. Ramous didn't want to talk to her in such a way, but it was for her own safety. One day he might tell her why. Ramous called OHSU immediately after Claire hung up. "Hello, information. Can I help you?" "Yes, this is Police Chief Rignor. I would like to speak to the head of Yuriku." "One moment, please." "Hello, this is Dr. Bradshaw. How can I help you, Chief Rignor. I would like to speak with Harry Wilson. I guess he has come to and is talking. Oh yes, the talker. Chief Rignor, I'm required by his chart to ask you for a password before I can allow you to speak with him. I sent that password to the cell number I was given. Could you please text it to me for verification? Ramous received the number and sent it back to the doctor. Thank you, Chief. I'll put you through to Mr. Wilson. Thank you, Doctor. Peter Daniels answered. Hello, Chief Rignor. The doctor told me you would like to speak with me. Is this about my friends Thomas Minor and Cindy Halstead? I'm sorry, Mr. Daniels. I didn't intend to talk about them. I'm calling to ask you to please keep quiet. Your life is in danger, and they have put you in OHSU under an assumed name. Can you keep those things to yourself until I can get in to talk to you personally? Yes, I can. Although I'm angry beyond words. St. Paul murdered my friends, and they need to be exposed. Please, Chief Rignor. Will you find out who's responsible? Keeping you from joining them is all we can deal with at this moment. It's imperative you do not speak to anyone about what has happened to you or why. I'll be in tomorrow. Then we'll talk about your friends. Please send me back to Dr. Bradshaw. Hello, Chief. Let me give you an update on Mr. Wilson. Not only is he talking, but he's also well enough to be discharged. Oh. Wow. I can't get there until tomorrow. Can you hold him until then? No problem. We will hold him until you get here, Chief. Thank you, Dr. Bradshaw. Have a good day. Goodbye. That evening, Ramous invited Stephen and his family over for a barbecue. He and Stephen discussed opening the bed and breakfast. He asked him if he was still interested in working for him full-time. Stephen jumped at the idea, so did his wife. They agreed on conditions and a salary. He was ready to come to work once Ramous selected a manager. The next day Ramous drove to OHSU. He pulled a chair next to Mr. Daniels' bed and questioned him. Do you mind if I record this on video? That's fine. I'm not sure how long I was out, so my timeline might be skewed. However, I'll give you the general details. Why would someone try to kill you, Mr. Daniels? This is why. My friend Thomas Minor met me at my house early one evening. He worked for the St. Paul Research Corporation. He told me that he and his co-worker, Jill Avery, found incriminating information about St. Paul, and because of what they found, he was afraid for his life. St. Paul already killed his co-worker Jill and her family the night before. He came to my home early one evening and gave me a briefcase he was carrying with him. The briefcase contained a bunch of papers and thumb drives, all of which contained disturbing information regarding research St. Paul was conducting. He had me empty the briefcase into another container, a box, and I was supposed to keep it hidden. Eventually, he left my house to find his girlfriend Cindy Halstead. That was the last time I saw him. Now, I don't even recall what day it was. The next day the school district I work for received 2 strange phone calls. 2 different people called asking about me. I got scared and ran to the beach. I was worried they might come looking for me. Once there, I rented a cabin on Natarts Bay under an assumed name of Jerry Reckless. I guess Natarts was the wrong place to go. Tom, Cindy and I used to go there several times a year. I should have known it would be the first place they'd look for me. The first night in the cabin, I turned on the television. As I was thumbing through the channels, I came across a Portland news program. They were reporting on a single car accident on Mount Hood. 2 people were killed. It was Thomas and Cindy who died in the accident. So, I didn't sleep at all that night, but passed out the next morning, being too tired to stay awake any longer. I woke in the afternoon. I was hungry, so I walked down the beach to a little grocery store and purchased a roast beef sandwich and a soda. Afterward, I went for a walk on the beach. That evening, I looked at the information Thomas had given me, which was a big mistake. I should have just contacted the media and given it to them. Peter explained what he read and saw in the paperwork and videos. He cringed while talking about them. The third day, I continued to pore over the files and videos. That evening, I got thirsty again, for something other than water or coffee, and went back to the little store. Next, I recall a beautiful young woman on the beach, and yesterday, I woke up here. Ramous turned off the video recorder. Would you mind writing all of this down for me, Mr. Daniels? Sure, I don't mind. Chief, am I safe? I'm smart enough to figure out if St. Paul got to Jill, Thomas, and Cindy to keep them quiet. Then I'm certain they can find me. Mr. Daniels, you're listed under an alias, but it won't be long before they figure this out. I want to move you to a safe location. I have a bed and breakfast on the coast just north of Tillamook, in Garibaldi. It's empty at the moment, and I'm the only one living there. So, you can stay there until we're sure you're safe. We have all your personal items at the station in Tillamook. I can retrieve them and bring them over to the hotel. I'm sure I can protect you there. I believe it's the safest thing for you right now. After what has happened to my friends and what I saw on those videos, I don't feel safe anywhere, although I'll move in there for the time being. OHSU discharged Peter that afternoon, and he and Ramous left for the coast. On the way, Ramous warned Peter not to talk with anyone else about the investigation. He explained the death of his fellow officers because they saw the video, and how it was left in the Blu-ray. Ramous told Peter about the two different generations, called gens, and how one group, the second gens, were trying to stop the others, the first gens. He explained why Zoe, a second gen, broke his neck to save him. He told him she and others were watching the bed and breakfast for the next couple of weeks in case any first gens came snooping around. That knowledge helped Peter feel safer, but not much. They got to the bed and breakfast later in the afternoon. Ramous showed Peter to a guest room and then went into the station to retrieve his personal items. He snuck them out of the office so no one would ask questions or find out Mr. Daniels was staying at the hotel. The next morning, Emily came into town for the manager's interview. Ramous paid for a taxi to bring her from the Portland airport into the Tillamook police station. She arrived at 11 a.m. Emily was a beautiful 34-year-old Irish woman with dark red hair and bright green eyes. They glowed when she smiled. She stood 5 feet 8. She wore jeans and a sweatshirt, which was too warm for the hot weather. She was attractive. Ramous drove her over to the resort and offered her the second guest room. She was tired, jet-lagged, and took a nap, lasting into the early evening. Ramous waited for her to wake up so he could interview her. He didn't expect her to be so tired. He planned for the interview to last 3 or 4 hours, so he could show her around and go over her ideas for the bed and breakfast. In her resume, she included the fact that she started 2 successful bed and breakfasts in the past. Emily made her way into the kitchen from her late afternoon nap. Well, good evening, Emily. Good evening, sir. Call me Ram. I get sir enough at work. Okay, Ram, sir. She smiled. Would you like something to drink, or eat perhaps? I'm thirsty, but I'm not hungry. Coffee would be great to help me wake up. The trip was longer than I had hoped, and tiring. I'm sorry. That's not a problem. We have plenty of time for the interview. Is this your first time in the US? No, I spent 2 weeks in New York 3 years ago. I attended a hotel convention downtown. I didn't care for New York, and it almost caused me not to respond to your advertisement. Since then, I have seen pictures of the Oregon coast and fell in love with Cannon Beach, especially the big rock on the surf. I decided I would like to visit. Now, I guess, I hope to move here, depending on whether you hire me. At least I get to visit. Do you have any family who will join you should you stay? No, I'm alone. I was adopted and my adopted parents disowned me because I became a Christian, and they remained Catholic. They don't have other children, so they raised me an only child, and I act like an only child too. She laughed. The fact you were looking for a Christian couple or other is one of the main reasons I applied. Now, I have 2 questions for you. I noticed you have little in the way of furniture. How do you expect to run a resort without furniture? Also, what's the name of this bed and breakfast? You never mentioned a name. It doesn't have a name yet. One of your goals will be to name the hotel. We used to call it the Beach Haven, but I never liked the name. It sounded too cultish for me. So, choose a new name. As far as needing furniture, it will be your goal to furnish the place. I sold the old furniture because it was outdated, and I hated it. I would like a different theme for each room. Your resume stated you did so with the Island Manor. I would like you to do the same here. Does that mean I'm hired? Yes, if you want it. I decided after our phone conversation and your resume that you're the perfect fit for the place. Are you prepared to stay, or do you need time to return to Ireland and settle things? I came prepared to stay, although I might appear a vagabond or gypsy. You don't, and I'm happy you can stay. We can open sooner. Do you drive? Yes, I do, but on the correct side of the road. I'll need to get used to American roads and driving on the wrong side. First thing, we need to get you a car. I have a truck you can drive in the meantime, so you can take the next couple of days learning your way around the neighborhood. I'll get you a cell, just in case you get lost. Your first assignment will be to give the hotel a new name. Okay, I can do that. These are the things I need you to accomplish right away. Give the bed and breakfast a name, buy furniture and hire 2 staff for room maintenance, 2 desk clerks, 2 chefs, and a part-time line cook for night room service. I would hope to keep payroll for those positions around $20,000 per month. So, total payroll, including you and my maintenance guy, should come to around $35,000 a month. On average, the bed and breakfast brings in $75,000 a month. The hotel has over $3 million invested with different banks, and it's available to get us back in business. Ramous opened a cupboard, reached in, and pulled a panel back. Behind the panel was a safe. The combination of this safe is 01955. He opened it and pulled a credit card from inside and handed it to Emily. This card has a $500,000 limit. Use it to make whatever purchases you need to get this place running. Also, there's a new car lot in Tillamook. Go buy yourself a car, but put it under the hotel's name, after you've chosen a name for it. So, now get those requests done. Mr. Rignor. Ramous cut her off. As you know, my name is Ramous. Please call me Ram. That's what my friends call me, and I prefer Ram to Mr. Rignor, or Sir, okay? Okay, Ram. Why aren't you running the resort yourself? I love what I do, and I can't help myself. The money doesn't mean much, but being a police officer does. I'm only opening the hotel because it would be a shame not to. I don't want too much responsibility regarding the operation, which is why I hired you. Just make a profit of $10,000 monthly, and everything will be fine. I'm confident the hotel will exceed that. If it does, it will make for hefty bonuses come December. You run the hotel and I'll remain the police chief, and we will get along. Ramous found it refreshing she was honest and confident, unafraid to say what was on her mind. Are you trying to talk yourself out of a job? Being a police officer isn't my living, it's my life, and I couldn't live any other way. No, I wasn't trying to talk you or myself out of a job. I'm excited about working here, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. No worries, I like people who can speak their mind. I'm not offended at all. Okay. Now, you mentioned living quarters. There are 3 residences outside the bed and breakfast. I'll live in one, and I assume you will take the other. Stephen, the caretaker, and his family live in the 3rd one. The property you'll be staying in is a large 2-bedroom with a fenced-in yard and gardens. Stephen will provide yard service for you unless you care to keep it maintained yourself. Okay. I need to pinch myself to see if I'm dreaming. You're not dreaming. Take the next couple of days and get yourself situated. Ram, tell me about Stephen. Who is he? Stephen is the maintenance man for the property, but he only answers to me. If you have a problem with him, tell me, and I'll handle it. He will follow your instructions, otherwise I'll see to it. Ramous already liked Emily. One last issue. A man is staying in room 6. He's part of an investigation. If he talks about the investigation, you're to ask him to stop. Do not ask him anything about why he's here. He shouldn't be here too long, and I want the two of you to stay as far from one another as possible. He's a witness I'm concealing, and the less you know about him the better. Yes, sir. After giving her an annoyed look, Ramous supplied Emily with names of previous employees and several hotel catalogs in which to buy supplies and furniture. They agreed to open the bed and breakfast within 2 months. Many of the visitors who stayed there before would more than likely come back. It was one of the more gorgeous properties in the area and was always in demand. The hotel rarely had an empty room. He and Emily reviewed the books and bank accounts, which Ramous determined he would control for the time being. They agreed on a lucrative salary, but she had a big job ahead of her. Emily would be a good fit. It was a good day for them both,